Welcome to the Stronger Leader Podcast, home of the hashtag Stronger movement, where we explore the fascinating tapestry of human experience. I'm your host, Tony Cardello. Each episode, we'll sit down with a remarkable guest to dive into their unique journeys, from successful business leaders to individuals who have faced the darkest of times and emerged stronger, even from some of the inspiring youth of this emerging generation. We'll also cover essential topics on marriage, leadership, as well as spiritual, physical, and mental health, all in hopes to provide you with the tools and motivation to navigate your own life's challenges. Whether you're here to learn, grow, or simply be inspired, there's something for everyone. So get comfy, settle in, and join us as we embark upon this journey together. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well. Turn on the notifications so you'll know whenever we drop new content. All right, let's get started. The conversation was good.
It wasn't meant to be. Go intro, right?
All right. We're still good. Here, let's do this again.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
I just got so caught up in the freaking deal. Welcome to another episode of the Stronger Leader Podcast. It's your host, Tony Cardello. I can't believe I did that. I'm here with my man from across the sea, across the world, made time for us today, Felix Aslund. Oh my gosh. So what you guys don't know about this is that we just did a little trial run for the first 2 minutes of this. And listen, based on the way this started, I'm telling you guys right now, you're going to love it. we got started on a conversation. I forgot to hit record. Listen, hey, I caught it in 2 minutes. The last time I did this on my in studio, for the first 30 minutes of the podcast, I never hit record on the audio. Thank God the cameras I have in studio also all have audio, so I was able to pick up some. Man, it was So man, it's a learning curve. I'm a one man show. I'm trying to get this done. You know, we were just talking about. Caring about people and who to care about and whatnot. And so we were getting in that conversation, but let's start over, man. I'm so sorry. Let's, we got off track because I want to pay homage to, where you were born, man. That's very important. I think that's huge because it's part of your character development of how you grew up, right? Nature, nurture. And I think that's big. So let's start back over. Felix, why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, where you grew up, did you go to private school, public school? Did you make it through school? Give us that background.
Yeah. All right. We're going to jump into that.
Here we go.
All right. So, I grew up in a small town in the north part of Sweden. I went to school. Yes, I dropped out of high school because
What year? Just curious. I did too.
I was 17.
17. I was too. That was great. Yeah.
There you go.
Here we go, my man.
I tried. The reason was fucking horrible. So I dropped out of high school because I was so heartbroken because I cheated on my first girlfriend and we broke up. So I couldn't stand seeing her every day in school. So, I dropped out of high school because of that reason, and I decided to move to the States.
Wow.
Because I wanted to become an actor.
An actor. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and I actually moved to LA. Yeah, for a while. Well, ended up becoming a gigolo instead.
Hey man, listen, there's a role for everyone.
I was an experience. I guess, fake ID. I'm being a gigolo. It is what it is.
Hold on. So literally, you were being a gigolo, probably, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
freaking. Yes, wealthy, lonely women had me as company.
Yes, I guarantee it. So, all right. So you grew up. What was the town you grew up in? What was it called?
It's called Söderhamn. It's where I am right now, actually.
Oh, got it. Back home for the holidays.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because there's glimpses of it everywhere through all your content, is your spirituality of faith in a particular religion, denomination. Are you Christian? Are you a Christian? Because you follow the Bible a lot.
I'm a follower of Christ at a quantum level.
Say it again. You follow Christ
at a quantum level.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, but do you believe in the Christianity, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit? Do you believe that piece of the biblical context of Christianity?
So I know what the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit means, and the interpretation of it at a quantum level. So
Okay.
the Father, the Son,
Mm-hmm.
the Holy Spirit is the
Mm-hmm.
bridge between you and your higher self, right? So that is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So
Yeah.
in this human experience, which we are in right now, it is an advantage to manifest God externally. But the New Age spirituality always likes to think inwards, and that that you are God, you are the creator, and they want to manifest, and they want to meditate, and they want to do breath work, and all of this stuff, and that is fine. But if you manifest God externally in this human experience, that's where you are here, because then life becomes much easier. That's it. You have external sources working for you. What you think will become your reality. And the Bible is a very good book that teaches you to have um, the correct interpretation of how you should go along with this reality. It is
Yeah.
always better to
So
manifest it
there's
externally.
pieces of that throughout the Bible that have always made me curious on that level. Like, one of the main things is that we were created in His image, and that's that's a godlike image, right? That's a spiritual angel, not mortal. We weren't created mortally, and if you look, if you know the story of Genesis, we initially weren't. We became mortal at the eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge and whatnot. So we were created as deities in a sense, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
you're going to reach that. You're going to reach that point yourself. That's why that's why you see all of these reverse aging clinics. That's where you see the peptides. That's why AI is coming up. So eventually, I would say give it 10 years and you will be physically immortal and not more. You don't need, trust me, 10 years. Ask and you shall receive. You requested immortality, you're going to get immortality in the flesh. But only people who follow Christ will get immortality in Christ. And then you have the mark of the beast, which people who follow anything else than Christ, they're gonna stay at a low vibration plane or dimension, whatever the timeline, and it's gonna look different for them. But those people who surrender to Christ are gonna experience heaven on earth.
Yeah, so I've always, the context that I've always taken this particular, this is where the part of the show gets a little sci-fi for people if you're not following along, or if you can't wrap your head around this. If we're in a spiritual warfare, it's not a make-believe battlefield. We are in a parallel world, so to speak, of that. The angels and the demons have an ability to slow down vibrations, to see us, to manipulate us, and we don't actually. Maybe we do possess the ability to be at that high level frequency. We haven't learned how. Most of us haven't on a consistent basis, so we can't see the spiritual warfare. And I think maybe that's where our faith comes in, that we have to understand and maybe even employ Jesus and the angels to fight those fights for us, because we can't see it.
Walk by faith, not by sight.
Yeah. So, all right. So what about, as a kid, just a normal kid, play sports? Did you play sports? And did you, what was some of your normal kid stuff you did? Because I recall in one of your videos, maybe it's on the podcast you did, that you had a pretty normal life. I
was normal. I had a pretty normal life up until 27.
Okay.
Or 20. Yeah. 20. No, I had a normal life up until 28.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah.
And how old are you now?
I'm 30.
30. Okay. All right.
Turning 31.
Okay. So, what's normal in Sweden?
Basically, so I started playing video games when I was 5. My older brother introduced me to a bunch of video games like Diablo, World of Warcraft, all of these stuff. So that's where I got my English from, basically. Started talking English when I was 5.
Your English is good, by the way.
Yes, thank you. So I played video games. I played football, soccer, America. I played floorball, ice hockey. I tried all of these different sports, right? And pretty normal childhood. I was a womanizer. I knew how to charm the ladies, and
ladies man.
Yes, I was a ladies man, and that later had consequences in getting male friends, right?
Yeah. So, so your first girlfriend, how long were you guys together in high school?
I think we met when we were like 15, maybe. And summer, 15 and a half. And then we were together on and off until we were 17. Pretty toxic. We both cheated on each other and stuff.
So when did drugs and sex, and when did the, as I would call it, at this point, darkness start setting into your life at a young age? How old
17.
17. Okay, so
yeah. America was the catalyst for it. Yeah.
It was what?
America was the catalyst for that road. Yeah.
Got it. What was your first experience with drugs? What did you try first?
I did an 8-ball, or what's it called, speedball with Charlie Sheen.
Oh yeah, speedball. Eesh.
With Charlie Sheen.
Hey man, you went right on in.
At his house.
Welcome to the party.
At his house.
And now how old were you for your first sexual experience with a girl?
15, I think.
15.
Yeah, about to turn 15.
So you were normal. I mean, you moved along at
I was very normal.
You moved along at a good pace, and so I got started much earlier. I smoked a joint and lost my virginity when I was 12 in a closet all at the same day.
There you go. There you go.
Everybody's like, damn, dude, that was a good day. I mean, I wouldn't, now that I got a daughter that's 16, I got 2 gorgeous daughters, 16 and 14. They better not be trying the same shit. I'll kill somebody.
Damn.
The perspective on what was cool started changing quite a few years ago. So,
yeah.
Okay, so talk about, I want to know what your definition of masculinity is in the healthiest form. Because listen, at the end of the day, we're called to be men, and we're called to be real men, right? And
right.
I think our world has completely and utterly perverted what a real man looks like. So I want to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, so the imbalance that you see today in today's society, it's also divinely orchestrated. That's what we got to know before I go into this. Everything is divinely orchestrated, and it is allowed to happen because we want the contrast. We want the contrast of this imbalance to then be able to appreciate when it gets into balance again. Okay, yeah. So, the masculine energy is basically a leader, a provider, and it's something that makes it. Whatever makes the woman comfortable in being in her feminine is a good masculine trait. And that might look different with every individual. But what is not feminine is being a provider, and is being assertive, and being controlling and a leader. But it is not the women's fault that this happens. It is mainly the man's fault for allowing it to happen. So the women are not to be blamed for this. But then you see like all of these, because women, they don't know what they want. They read the news and they read the social media, and they see all of these trendy stuff, and all of a sudden they're lost in a maze of where, oh yeah, I want to make money as well. Oh, I want to be this influencer. Oh, I want to be the entrepreneur. I want to create a conglomerate. It's like, this is all a setup for this matrix. Trust me, why that you think that you want to have a conglomerate instead of just being a nurturing, soft, feminine woman and having everything delivered to you. That is something that is propaganda that has been fed to you. That then all of a sudden you are this businesswoman, right? And you are assertive and you are dominant and you have these masculine traits. But guess what? You're depressed. You don't want to be this. Why would you want to work your ass off every day? Like when you actually have the choice to not to thrive and be you. It's been very wrongly portrayed up in the media of what women feel comfortable in doing and being. Because men, we're masochistic by nature. We have a different ego, and we want to prove something to ourselves, and we want to prove something to other people, and our value, self-value, gets heightened when people see what we're capable of, and that's why it's important for us to provide.
Got it. So, question, tell me your honest opinion here. So, my wife and I own a group of med spas. We own three. Getting ready to open up our fourth med spa. My wife has been a nurse her whole life. She grew up, little girl. She wanted to be a nurse. She went to school, got a nursing degree, and then her and I got together. And she was it was very tough. School was tough for her. She wasn't she was a good student in terms of trying. It just didn't come natural. She had to work really hard. So at the sorority, she's the one there all night long studying while the girls are all out partying. She never partook in any of that. And,
wifey.
So yeah. So she worked her butt off to get her nursing degree and wanted to be a nurse. And so, though I made good money, she didn't have to work. She wanted to, and it really wasn't even to be a contributor to the house. She wanted to because she wanted to. She enjoyed
nurturer. Nurse,
yeah, exactly.
nurturer.
She enjoyed serving and because she worked in the pediatric intensive care unit, saving sick and dying babies, which, takes an amazing type of person. And then as she's retired out of that PICU, the traumatic area of nursing, she's gone into aesthetics, which she loves. And she'll even tell you, since we bought the med spas and she's been in those chairs, she's gotten to share Jesus and the Bible more in that setting than she ever did before. And so she loves what she does. And we're business owners now, and you know how it is. Business owners get paid last, and we usually work the hardest and everything else. And so she doesn't want to work as hard as she's doing, but she sees the end, for our businesses, and we have daughters coming up through it. And so I'm just curious, what's a woman who, I'm not going to say, no, woman, your place is in the home. You can't work. If she wants to work, I feel like I owe it to her to serve her at that level and provide her the support and everything else. And it's not a, hey, you need to get to work because we're short. We're not making ends meet. You need to go work. That's different, right?
Yeah, that's different.
Okay. Different. And I'm not trying to say that to justify myself that my wife works.
No, but that's totally different. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because everybody has free will, and just at the end of the day, she has to ask herself the question: does this make her happy? Or does this make her life better? Does it improve her life, her quality of life to do this? I med spa. I guess it's pretty nurturing as well, right? And it's she's a boss, she's a psychologist, she's a therapist, she's a sister, she's a mother. She has to play all of these different nurturing parts in her vocation. But that is totally valid.
Okay. All right. Yeah, good. So, I wanted to, the reason I wanted to highlight that, for me personally, so I can relate, but too, for listeners, I don't know if you recall, do you know who Harrison Butker is, the kicker for the Chiefs, for the Kansas City Chiefs? So a couple of years ago, he gave a commencement speech at he's Catholic, devout, like super devout Catholic. And he gave a commencement speech, for a graduation at the Catholic university he graduated from. And they just destroyed him in the public because he was kind of like, this is before Charlie Kirk. This is back, when, Biden was in office. There was just a lot of that division. And he said, my wife, the fact that I get to play the sport that I love and do what I do because my wife is at home doing what she's supposed to do. And she takes care of the house and the kids and, and they took it completely out of context. Right.
Yeah.
And he went on to say it's the most honorable, trade that a woman could do is to care for her home and her children. And it was a beautiful thing because my wife and I are traditional. We do traditional roles in the home for the most part as well, right? And that is what makes her happy. She loves cooking and cleaning and taking care of the home and me and all that. That makes her happy, right?
And so, women who are not on birth control, that makes them happy. If you're on birth control, it fucks you up. And it makes them confused. Women who are not on birth control, they all want to nurture. That's fact,
Yeah. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because I don't really care what people's strong opinions are, but I want to make sure that that you have a healthy perspective on what we're talking about here. I think at the end of the day, we as men are supposed to support our women in whatever they want to do. We lay our life. If they want to go to work, we support them. We put wind in their sails. We pick them up. We lift them up. We breathe life into them. If that's what they want to do. If they want to stay home and cook and clean and take care of the home and do that, and they don't want to work, they want to be a mom, then that's what we gotta step up and get 2 or 3 jobs if that's what we got to do to make ends meet so that she can stay. At the end of the day, as a man, we are supposed to do whatever the woman needs from us so that she can live at the highest level, right?
An easy answer is that a man should take the weight off the woman's shoulder. And yeah, that's the easiest. Like if you want to work, yes, but they shouldn't have the pressure, the financial pressure. They shouldn't have the stress. They shouldn't take the stress from work home with them. That should all be taken care of for the men because we are more stress resilient. That's it. We act on logic. We act on emotions, and emotions can easily be get out of balance. So we have to be that. We have to take the weight off the women's shoulders. That's our job.
100%. So tell me what was life altering for you in the last couple of years that really triggered this spiritual awakening that's kind of got you on this path that you're on now, and you're really, I could tell you're onto something, and like I said earlier, you're unapologetic and you're firm in your belief system, and which I love, man. You're not an unwavering ship being tossed in the ocean. You got your rudder down, man, and you know where you're going. And moreover, with the level of the depth of the stuff that you're thinking about and what you're saying, that only comes from being open-minded. And if you know, STRONGER in my logo here is an acronym for spiritual, trustworthy, resilient, open-minded, noble, genuine, encouraging, and relentless. And O is right in the middle of that, of being open-minded, right? In order to learn, you have to be open-minded. And so I always tell everybody, there's two things about me. You can bet everything you own, everything you ever will own, you can bet on it. I'm going to tell you the truth as I know it, and it's going to come from my heart. Now, my disclaimer is I could be wrong, and you may not like what I have to say, but that's okay, right? It's the truth as I know it, and that's why I say that, because I am open-minded. Yeah, I am open-minded. My truth has developed over my experiences. It doesn't mean it's the end all be all. It's my truth as of now.
Yeah.
And so
those people who resonate will resonate.
And it's your obligation as a friend of mine, if we are in community with each other, to redirect my truth if it's wrong. Don't let me be out here being wrong if I'm wrong. If you know a better truth, tell me. And that's where my open-minded kicks in.
Right? A better truth. Truth. That's the ask. If you know a better truth, just correct me. Yeah, and if you have a different truth, then just let it be yours.
Yeah. And listen, I'm firm enough in my belief system, my faith. I'm going to push back. I'm not going to take the truth at first glance. You got to tell me. I mean, I've learned, unfortunately, I'm a hard learner. You tell me the stove's hot, I'm going to tell you I'm tougher than you. I can handle a hotter stove.
Yeah.
But you have to convince me that it's real fucking hot. Don't touch it.
Exactly. Or maybe I need to touch it first to realize that, I need to fuck around.
I've always said, man, I'm a hard learner, but I'm a good learner. I don't touch, I went to federal prison for 4 years for selling drugs. And though I never quit using drugs, I quit selling them. I touched that stove once. I knew where it landed me. I ain't doing it again. Right. And so I didn't quit using them for quite a while after that, which led me into some later stuff we'll talk about later. But yeah, anyway, so all right, so let's move along here, and I want to know this spiritual enlightenment piece, this part for you where life just took a turn, man, and things started appearing different.
So I got introduced to spirituality by my ex-fiance. So I was raised an atheist, right? An atheist. And then I met a girl, and her parents or her family was very spiritual, and her grandmother was very respectable. What you call it, healer, or we call it witch, but it has a negative term. But that she was a very powerful woman, loved her to death, made her soul rest in peace. Yeah, but I got introduced to spirituality through her family, and then COVID came. And I started listening, and stuff stop making sense, Stop making sense, Wait. Hold on, no. You're telling me that I need to vaccinate myself to be able to walk into this restaurant where everybody is vaccinated Or else I'm gonna give them COVID, but they are vaccinated. So if I am vaccinated, does that mean that COVID virus will die on my skin? And then I was like, what is going on here? And then I started getting fed all of these sort of red pill references and the matrix references through the algorithm, right? So it was God integrating this process, this slow awakening for me through social media, basically, and together with this new epiphany and then my new questioning of reality, basically. And that's yeah, it was a slow process, slow. It's been slow. Um, uh, yeah, then stuff started happening. I had a construction company back then. I had an education company. I was an entrepreneur, right? I had all these companies. I was depressed. Then I I remember my ex fiance, her grandmother died, who I talked about, and my companies were doing really good because of COVID, and I had a lot of pressure on my shoulders, and I had to take care of her. You know, she had a panic attack, and she was sad. And I was like, shit, you know, and yes, you know, I'd been using substances before, so I was like, damn, you know, I need to use a tool now so I can endure this, so I can, you know, go through it. So I looked up on the internet. I didn't want to use amphetamines and shit because it was illegal, but I found this kratom, right? You have one in America now, and a lot of people use kratom in America. Holy shit. I mean, it's better than fentanyl, I guess, but yeah, I got addicted to that really quick, really fast. So I started doing that shit, you know, started hiding it. Then she sort of found out what it was that I was consuming every day. And she was this pura vida woman, not even an advocate, nothing. And she realized what we were consuming, and she threw it all out. But I had this opioid addiction still in me, you know, because of kratom. And so I was like, okay, how do I sneak around with this shit? Yeah, I need to buy some pills. That's what I need to do. So I started buying Oxycontin and Tramadol. Oh, brother,
Oh,
brother. Oh,
oh.
oh.
Yeah.
So I started doing loads in like after like 6 months. I think I was up to doing 160 milligrams of Oxycontin a day. And you know, like when you break your leg, you get like 10 milligrams a day. I was
That's
like,
what I was
oh,
gonna
I'm
say. It's
doing
like,
it.
yeah, I was gonna say it's like they come in like fives and tens or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I was doing 160 just to
Right.
function, bro. It's like, yeah, up my nose, everywhere. Um, yeah, and basically, guys. So I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't as aware as I am now. But what really happened, I'm not taking away accountability for my actions in any way. But what really happened is, so when you consume a drug, you get holes in your bioenergetic field, and that allows for uh, uh, parasitical possessment or demonic possessment. Right? You
Mhm.
take control of your mind and your impulses, and I cheated on my fiance basically.
Hey, do you think there's any correlation with the fact that when you talk about the demon piece of that, that the demons are at a low vibration? Is that right? Is it a low frequency? So, do you
Low
think that
frequency.
those being downers participate in that at all, or what's your thoughts on that correlation? No,
Um, so all substances,
uppers
uh,
or downers. I guess that kind of
yeah,
that
all
that would be it.
substances that creates space for different entities to get attached. And if your belief isn't strong, or if you, like you can easily get compromised if you're not careful, and you're going to be compromised long after the drug goes off. Like that's
So a
it.
lot of people don't know this, and I went through a spiritual healing class when I first got sober 10 years ago, and it was a 10-week class, and it was two days a week for 5 hours a day, so it was really intense, and I didn't realize the demonic oppression that you can be under, and it's not like people think of, like it's not like going to a haunted house on Halloween where you got all these goblins, you know, and they're haunting you while you're trying to go to sleep. It's just these ties, it's these anchors and these chains that you carry around that you don't even really realize until you know. And then when you
Until you're free
do,
from it.
Yeah, until you're free from it, and I'll tell you, one of the ones that was for me, and you'll probably appreciate this, was, my promiscuity growing up. I slept with so many women as a young kid. Those are soul ties. Those are soul ties, which
Yes.
bind, and they bind you, which you're wondering, why am I incapable of loving? Why do I keep going from one girl to the next? It's because your soul is bound up. I mean, you have nothing to give.
You have to go and solve everybody's traumas, bro. That's it. You fucked around too much. Now you got to cure that crazy bitch that you put your cock in. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it. You
got to
put your
break
cock
those
in crazy. Now suffer the consequences, motherfucker.
And no one realizes that we've really downplayed it by telling someone, hey man, you could get sick, or you could get somebody pregnant. Man, it's way deeper than that.
You can become homeless for putting your cock in the wrong vagina. That's it. I promise.
Yeah.
Right. You can become poor. Like, for real.
Right.
She grew up in poverty. She has a trauma that makes her poor, like her poverty trauma that can get onto you. So you have to figure out the way through that maze of her trauma, the lessons that is.
Right. Yeah. There's ways out of it and ways around it, but the best way is to not partake, right? Like stay clear of it.
Yes, you have to go through it if you've done it. That's it. You cannot really escape it. You can ask God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. You can say, God, please show me what are the lessons that I need to learn so I can get out of this trauma as fast as possible. And then I'm open to receive the downloads from you, God, in the name of Christ. And then this quantum reality are going to give you the information, because whole universe that you were open and a recipient for information that allows you to navigate out of this maze as fast as possible. So this is what I mean at a quantum level, right?
So do you believe then, obviously to get out of that, you have to first acknowledge it, right?
That's the first. And show love to the situation.
And then probably to accept and be able to receive the advice of the way out of it, you also have to repent, right? And you have to truly and sincerely be sorry for it. You don't. Okay. Go in on that for it.
So repentance is to forgive yourself for your own mistakes and try your hardest not to repeat them. That is it. And that is it. Like, that's repent. Like, you don't have to, you have to forgive yourself for your previous mistakes, because you are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. Right? Mm-hmm. And since time doesn't exist outside of this human experience, then you just have to be willing to change, right? And you might repeat this mistake like 10 times, but the easiest way to get out of these loops is to always love yourself, no matter what weird fetishes you have or what you have masturbated to at Pornhub. Like, you need to, if you condemn yourself for these actions, right? Because you got to understand that you are in the flesh and there is something going on that is governing your impulses and your controls. And if you're not aware enough, you are chanceless. If you think that you are in control, then you are being arrogant, and the universe, God, is going to make sure that you realize that you are not in control. So, for example, like, just take a small thing. I talked about it in one of my short videos. I was laughing at a guy who had this Tourette's, that he was touching his cock at his healing sessions on the part. Like, he was going into women doing the light language, and then he was like stroking his cock. I was just laughing at him. Like, he was hilarious. He's character. So what I found myself doing, I was stroking my cock in the same way he did. So that was God, humbling me. It's like, you know what, bro? You laughed at that? Listen, I am in control. I am your daddy. All right. So stop laughing. No, you shouldn't judge. All right. I can make you do it in the same way I made him do it. That's it. Yeah. So you're not in control. You need to show yourself love for the actions that you do. That is the only way out of these cycles or loops that you are in. It's to always show yourself love and realize that, hey, okay, this happened now, but it's not gonna get better if I hate myself or I despise myself or I feel disgusted by myself for these actions. That just means that you're gonna continue to be at that frequency where that loop is gonna repeat itself. You know.
So do you believe that for us that every day is a spiritual warfare? Like we wake up onto the battlefield every day.
Everybody is, and so we live in the third dimension. Okay, and the third dimension, this flesh is governed by the fourth and the fifth dimension, the spiritual and the astral plane. So there are spirits, archetypes governing our impulses, or guardian angels, people to call them guardian angels or angels. Like everybody, they are governing our thoughts, and they are synchronicities and angel numbers, and in desires. It's like, and it's there for you to realize that once you have realized that it is all spiritual warfare, that is really when you can start to navigate this realm for real, right? So you have the third dimension, which is where we exist right now. Then what is controlling the third dimension is the fourth and the fifth dimension. The ninth dimension, where the quantum realm is where the spiritual and the astral plane is explained scientifically. So that is basically how this reality works at a quantum level.
Got it. So I want to know, there was a part of your story where you got bit by a cobra. Is this a physical, literal cobra?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Where were you when this happened?
I was in Koh Lanta, Thailand. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
talk about that.
So yeah, I was a friend of mine and me. We went to Koh Lanta, and it was a bar called the Mushroom Bar there. My friend,
where's that island at?
In Thailand.
Thailand. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was a bar called the Mushroom Bar, right? So my friend wanted to try mushrooms because he hadn't tried mushrooms before. So we go from the resort over there, and I order him a mushroom shake, and I didn't want to do mushrooms because I've done it enough, and I wasn't in the mood really. But I ordered the mushroom shake, and I took 1 or 2 sips from it, and then we go outside of the mushroom bar, and there's sand carpets, and we lay down. And after he drank the whole shit, by the way. He drank the whole thing. He drank the whole thing. It was a strong fucking shit. That was a strong shake, And we lay down, and after 10 minutes, I look at him. I was like, I was starting to trip like a motherfucker. I was like, bro, how are you? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah. I'm like, are you feeling it? He's like, no. I was like, what? What do you mean? I'm tripping balls here. He's like, what? Well, I'm not, he had the entire shake. I did 2 sips. I did 2 sips from a straw. I was like, what? This makes no sense. But anyways, have you done mushrooms?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, these horrible, have you had a really horrible experience?
Unfortunately, I've had nothing but amazing
time
with mushrooms. I've seen people.
I've had one horror experience before. And this was very similar to a really nasty experience of mushrooms, right? So the entire sky turned pitch black, and I started getting on these, the traumas were coming up. I was like, okay, it's one of these fucking experiences. It's one of these trips.
Yeah.
So just laying down, smoking cigarettes on that sand carpet, and looking at people dancing on the bonfire for like 3-4 hours. My friend, he was tripping like crazy. Like he went down at a resort further down. He went down to the pool. He came back and he said, like, I went down to the pool with a bunch of cobras. I said to the cobras that you're not gonna bite me because I'm a good human being. That's like so random. He comes up to me and say that. I was like, okay, but there was no cobras there. It was just tripping. I was like, okay, well, yeah, you are a good human being. So yeah, good. Now go and have fun. I'm gonna lay down here because this trip is not fun.
Yeah.
So I was continuing smoking cigarettes and, just watching, perceiving people, observing people. And after like 3-4 hours, he was having horrific experiences. He's like, can we go home? God hates you. Can we go home? I was like, God doesn't hate you, bro. But yeah, we can go home. Let's go home. And we took back to the hotel, and I stepped out of the shower, and he's like, oh, how are you? I was like, I'm not very good. I'm not good. Like, you're back because you're tired. You have bite marks. I was like, huh. Yeah, you should probably find a janitor though.
Oh
You should
my
probably go
gosh.
and find someone. We need to get the fuck out of here. Bro. Something has bit me.
Yeah.
So he goes out, try to find janitor, but his pupils are still dilated. This guy he's a huge guy. He's a big, strong motherfucker. You know, and he was in a boat accident as young, so he had like 3rd-degree burn marks everywhere, like
Oh my
except for on his face. So he comes like this, you know, tattoos on the throat and on the neck, and it's like, my friend. So the janitors they come, and they call the police. They now have 2 fucking high tourists, right? And there's a resort. Like, so the police is on the way, and and then we had a girl who was a sex worker on island. So he had been in company with my friend. I said we call her up, and I said you need to come and pick me up at this resort because I'm gonna die in Thai prison. She's like, where are you? And I told the resort. And the police was on the way. You know, we were just like trying to pack up everything. And I was like, fuck, you know, packing up all the shit. And then she paid to the reception. And he got to stay there, right? He got to stay over still in the hotel while the police was coming. So I go to the hospital and the police is looking for him at the resort. So he hides in the pool. He just hides some backpacks and everything, and just see the police is just coming looking for him at the resort.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. But anyway, I come to the hospital. And I pass out outside of the hospital, the clinic. There's no doctor there at the moment. Then I wake up at the hospital bed while they were trying to extract blood from me. Right? And it's all black and jelly, it's coagulated.
Oh
So
yeah.
then
Yeah.
I just look up, and the last thing I see is the doctor and the nurse. They look at each other. They're like, nope,
Oh.
nope, and then boom, pitch black, void,
Oh wow.
abyss, void, boom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I think I recall in one of your stories did you flatline for a minute?
I was dead for 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
You died for 10. Okay. And then so you didn't have any spiritual encounter at that point, right? You didn't see the light, you saw black, right?
It was so black. It was so black. I was so easiest way to describe this pitch black void darkness is singularity. It was 1D. Singularity, everything, and there was nothing. It was incomprehensible. Incomprehensible.
Literally just pitch black, the absence of light. Yeah. So question, did you feel like you had consciousness during that time?
I had, yes, I had an expanded consciousness, but
do you recall? Do you have a memory from that 10 minutes while you're out? What were some of the things you were thinking?
I remember I woke up, when I woke up from it, the Tainoku was sitting in the corner, and she was with me all the way. I said, like, I was like, I was dead for 10 minutes. She's like, I saw your soul. And I said I was dead for 10 years. It felt like I was gone for 10 years. I've been like 9 minutes and 58 seconds. And she's like, I saw your soul leaving body. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. But anyway.
Oh my gosh.
What happened? I was in this abyss, this void, but I still had the sensation of falling. I fell it. I fell and I fell and I fell for what felt like 10 years. That's what I told. And after this time had passed, like 10 years, I got so fucking angry and mad, and I was furious. So I started like screaming, but not screaming, but still screaming. God, it's like, you motherfucker, you fucking idiot, show your fucking face, I'll fuck you up. I'm going to hell because this is hell. I'm going to hell. And I'm like, right. These motherfuckers up here, they're like to live, the rapists and the fucking murderers and all that. Why did it? Because I cheated? Do I go to hell because I cheated? You fucking idiot! You serious? I was so angry that when I started screaming, there spawned 3 demons. So when people ask me, oh, what happened on the other side? I give an easy explanation. That is okay. I died, I fell, I fought 3 Balrogs and I respawned as Gandalf the White. That is like the easiest explanation. But what happened is 3 demons that looked very similar to the Balrog spawn, like right in front of me. And I was so angry, so I was like, man, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Let's go. And they were attacking me like telepathically. They were like telling me I'm not worthy, I'm a pussy, I'm a cheater, I'm a sinner, like all of these just spiritual warfare at a different level. And from the beginning, I just received it. I was like, oh, but then something snapped and what the fuck? You're not going to tell me what the fuck I am, I started fighting me. Started fighting me, motherfucker. And once I defeated them, there spawned a star. Way up there was a star. I was like, oh, that's the white light. All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
I was still falling. I was still falling. But and then I remember these words came to me like, if Superman could fly, I could fly. And all of a sudden I stopped falling and I started soaring, started levitating. I'm gonna fly up there. I'm gonna go. I'm going home. Let's go home. And I got closer and closer. I had fun on my way up there, and then before I got close enough, there was a boy sounding like mine, but he said my name was Mons back there. So he said like Mons. If you look to your left now, you have a thing we call like Akashic Records, and I knew what Akashic Records was. Right? So he materialized it as the Hogwarts library for me. So you understand that the creator, whoever the creator is, like first my favorite movie is Lord of the Rings, right? So he materialized my catabasis, my descent to the underworld as me being Gandalf fighting Balrogs. This is my experience, right? Everybody has different experiences, but he made it so nice, and then all of a sudden I have the Hogwarts library at my disposal, which is also one of my favorites, as a child growing up. So my inner child got to play a bit. And he's like, go in there, open up any book you want, ask a question and open up any book you want, any side, any page you want, and then you will get the definitive answer to that question, and you will get the answer to why that answer is the way it is. And you can be there as long as you want. You can ask as many questions you want, and then you can bring it back. And that's it. Take your time. I went in there. It was this magical place. It was a wizard sitting and writing, reading me. They were writing in the books, and there was flying books, like flying on the ceilings. I was like, hey, this is nice. But I still didn't have a body. So it's just a floating consciousness, basically, with eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there. I asked a bunch of questions. I stayed in there for a long time. Long time. Then I went out. When I thought I was done, I asked, he said, yeah, I can go now. I'm done. He's like, are you sure? I said, yeah, sure. He's like, yeah, I know. And then I went out and I flew up, and this star was a portal. And it showed itself to be a portal. It was a white, shiny portal. And through that portal, I saw a woman and a daughter, my daughter. Like I went in. This was my wife, and this was my 2-year-old daughter. I knew it was my 2-year-old daughter. I knew it was my wife. I don't have a wife. I don't have a daughter. I didn't see their faces. I just the soul recognition, and then went in. Then I started walking towards some high grass. Here again, creator materialized it as gladiator. Right. So he made this experience so pleasant. I was Maximus Decimus Meridius walking towards my wife. I was like, fucking hell. Oh yeah, let's go. I love this reality. And then I started walking, and then my 5-year-old son comes from the left. Couldn't see his face either. I don't have a son. Picked him up with my left arm and carried him and walked towards my wife and my daughter. And the second that I touched my daughter's shoulder, boom, I wake up in the hospital bed in Kalanta. I was like, wow. All right, bro. Okay. Let's go.
So in your processing of all this, the way your current belief system is, you at what point do you have this conversation with God? Like, all right, let's talk, dude. What was this about? God, there's more to this. This just wasn't a bad trip. And what's the lesson? Did you have that conversation?
So the knowledge that I gained, and also, there were some other things that I took with me. from that side, which people aren't really ready for yet. But I got this chance of redemption, or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't really redemption because everything was divinely orchestrated. Really, even the cheating part of my fiance, which it's all divinely orchestrated. Okay, it's life lessons can be ruthless. That's it. Just gotta forgive yourself for your mistakes and keep on moving on, and realize that heaven has a plan for you, or God has a plan for you. And even the Cobra bite was divinely orchestrated, and everything to be a part of my lore, my hero's journey, so to say.
Yeah.
And I got confirmation of what my prophecy is to fulfill on this planet, and starting to create content is one major leap in that direction, and spreading the things I spread.
So do you think that I have sticky intuition that you probably think a lot like I do in terms of zero on this? Nothing that happens is by chance or happenstance. There's a perfectly divine path and a pattern for everything that exists in this world today, whether it's intended for you or you're just a pawn in that piece. Whatever your experience in life is innately orchestrated.
Not predetermined, but orchestrated. Yes,
but orchestrated. Yeah, right. Yeah. I kind of look at it like this. See if you what you think about this perspective. I feel like life is do you remember those books when you were a kid, the choose your own adventure books, where if you want to go through this door, you go to page 10. If you want to go through this door, go to page 15.
Did you see my Q&A?
No. Did you? I had made it all the way to the end. Is that what you said?
I haven't seen that, what you're talking about, but so this is one thing that I brought with. So this is probably gonna verify or validate your beliefs, right? So you have 9-year life cycles. From 0 to 9, let's say you have 20 doors. Yes. You can pick and choose between 20 doors. Yes. From 9 to 18, you have 15 doors. Right? From 18 to 27, you have 10 doors. And this is like with every decision that you make, right? So this is with every decision that you make, you always have a number of doors. And the closer you get to your destiny, the fewer doors you get. Or if you choose the doors that allows you to suffer so much, then eventually Jesus will take the wheel, and you will only have 1 or 2 doors for the rest of your life, basically. So,
like you suck at picking doors. Let me help you.
It's like you're a divine misfit. You are God's favorite fuck up, and now you are not allowed anymore. It's like, okay, some people have 10 doors all the way up to 50. Well, I'd probably have a half. It's like, that's it.
You can go through this door or this door. Yeah. It's the same door.
Yeah. You have to go walk through the eye of a needle of this fucking cow here. That's it. Yeah. I'm not putting my trust in you anymore, though. Like, and then you become what I call highly functional retard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the door, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So good. So yeah, I do too. That's because people are like, well, you have free will, and if God's got it all planned out, but you have free will. How does that work? Well, that's kind of my
every road leads to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's but it's how you go to Rome. It's not often. Yeah, it's sort of free will, but not free will. Yeah.
I had a question here, but it's we've already answered it. It's about the masculinity stuff. So I want to talk about your red pill energy. I found some of that content pretty cool too. You have a unique perspective on some. So how was that born? Are you a fan of The Matrix, the movie itself?
Well, so The Matrix is a documentary, nothing else. Neo is Jesus, or the archetype of Jesus. That's what it is. So it aligns a lot with my messages and my persona, and I believe that the terminology red pill has been distorted by these very, these jocks. It's like, we'll go to the kitchen. Well, I'm gonna drink my Budweiser. No, red pill energy is essentially just go because that mindset, or those jocks, they are the Matrix. That's what they are, but they think they're not. So but anyway, touching the red pill or eating the red pill or allowing yourself to go down that path, it's like the only way out is down. And I'm here to guide you down this path. I'm here to simplify your existence. I'm here to to take back that terminology, red pill, and give people a more sober perspective of what it is, because it's the only way that people should um, interpret it as. It's not supposed to be toxic masculinity, in that sense,
Yeah. So as you've grown in your philosophies and the work you're starting to do outwardly now, and you're being obviously bold and sharing more with the world and your social influence, what type of responsibility does that come with? What do you feel? And I know we talked earlier about not really caring what people think, but I think there's a certain element of a responsibility if we're going to be out here steering people's lives. There's a big responsibility that comes with that, and I think that since we are given, we are blessed with the fortitude and the strength and the courage to be outspoken on these social. Because let's face it, there's the majority of the people, even though they may believe, and let's be honest, that's our audience, is the people that actually are looking for validation and beliefs and stuff and similar concepts that we're talking about, but they would never be bold enough and brave enough and courageous enough themselves to go on a social platform and put themselves out there. So with that, with us, being on these social platforms, we have a gigantic responsibility of, being vulnerable, but bold, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know, like, how do you internalize that responsibility and consciously think about, okay, when you're putting this stuff out there, do you try to make it in such a way that's not palatable, because some of it's not palatable for people, but relatable, understandable, because especially your realm and the things you're talking about, you start talking about quantum physics, you're going to lose 99% of the people, right? So but your message is good. So we don't want to miss the people just because they can't understand. So what do you do with that responsibility? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I have this strategy. So where I use the laws of the universe to my advantage, right? So that I use quantum physics or quantum mechanics to grow on social media platforms to then deliver the message that's supposed to be delivered. So that's where you see all of these, like the majority of my clips that have gone viral. They're brain rot, they're brain rot, provocative clips. So what you want to do is you want to go on social media, or you wanna use you wanna stir up emotions in people, okay? So they project their emotions towards you. So emotion is an energy in motion, and they see me making a viral clip where I speak about my big ego, right? It's like, and that's going to stir up some emotions, especially in this it's going to stir up sexual emotions in women, and it's going to stir up provocative emotions in men. But every emotion is good. It's energy in motion. And when they see me on the screen, they're projecting their energy and motion towards me, and my vessel, my bioenergetic field, it receives these energy emotions, these emotions, and I alchemize it. And that means that, okay, I have so much energy in motion, or energy stored in me, so that the source can choose to put out the correct amount of information or make some other reel go viral, so that I will get a following, because I now have all this stored energy and motion within me. So the algorithm doesn't really exist in the way that people think that algorithm exists. Everything is the laws of the universe. But I'm going to continue to stir up emotions and provoke people and trigger people and enlighten people and educate people. But it's going to go in cycles of 1, provoke, okay, 2, trigger, 3, enlighten, 4, educate, 5, make them laugh. And this is my constant cycle when I release my reels, right? So that's why I have this growth that I have as well. But my thought is always like, the end goal is always my vision. So yes, I might release a reel. I released a reel where I am condescending towards Swedish men, because of their lack of masculinity. But I know that the end goal is going to make it up for it, because, okay, this is creating reactions. People are seeing who I am, and then all of a sudden, boom! Here comes this magical fucking reel that all of a sudden just expands someone's world, and that was okay for me to play that comical sketch where I was condescending. That is it.
Yeah,
That is how I see it. Yeah, that's how I see it. Yeah.
So what's your speaking of your end goal? Like if you were, and I'm sure you've got there's a lot of different little small motivations, but for me, just for example, I'll tell you mine. Like, so for me, the premise of everything I do every single day is to try to lead people to be followers of Christ. It's all comes up from there. And then there's different people on different, in different pieces of their journey. Right. So I'm not going to come to you who you're coming down off of an opioid high. You just took 160 milligrams. I'm not going to come to you and say, hey, dude, you need Jesus or you're going to die. I'm not that you ain't ready for that. Right. I'm going to probably try and say, hey, man, maybe let's go to 80 milligrams tomorrow. Let's try that. We ain't even talking about Jesus yet, but I have an ulterior motive always in the end result with everything that I do is I want to lead people to Christ. So what's your goal? What's your
lead people to Christ?
Okay. All right, good. I love it. Yeah. So that, and listen, man, this is what's so cool about this. You and I are we're going through that last door, that one door at the very end when we get to
called a crusade, right? Bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but you and I are taking very different doors along the way to arrive at the same conclusion, which I think is so freaking awesome. That's what makes
Rome.
Yeah, man. It's so cool. And I think it helps. So, all right, so let's back up just a tiny bit. And I want to know, so your faith journey, maybe it started years sooner, but now in the last couple of years is when it's really gotten deeper and all that. How has that changed you as a person? Like what, do you drink at all anymore? Do you partake in anything at all? Any substances, big, little, or anything in between? And if you don't want to answer that, you don't have to, but I'm curious.
Of course. I've never been a fan of alcohol. They used to do it in like a destructive manner to go and get laid, or just to be able to enjoy the cocaine more.
That was me. I had to, let me pound a couple, 3 or 4 beers, get a buzz, and I can do a rail.
Dry snorting is not good. It's not fun. It's not it's really, that's it. I'm saying you just sit there paranoid, like, okay, I'm swinging for my palms and everything fucking sucks. The fuck is this shit? That's it. So it was more. I drank alcohol because I wanted to make the cocaine hard. Then that's it. But I was never hooked on cocaine either. So, but I do, and I'm not against it because I know that it's not that deep. I'm gonna fuck around with a substance. Yes, I'm going to have to find out what's happening when I fuck around with it. It's not that deep. That's basically also my message. That yes, you have free will. You can go and fuck around with cocaine, okay? But you are going to find out the consequences by fucking around, and that is basically your life. Fuck around, do what you want. You're going to find out. That's it.
FAFO.
It doesn't have to be deeper than that. So if a friend of mine, or if I were to celebrate some career goal or whatever, I'm probably gonna have champagne. And if the opportunity comes and there is some Peruvian snow there, I'm probably gonna take it up my nose. But I have full control. That's it.
I got it. So, all right, cool. So moving on here, what is we haven't talked about this, which I think is very cool. What is your career? What are you doing right now? I mean, your money doesn't grow on trees. So how are you, what's your earning like? And how much doesn't matter to me, but what do you do to get by? What's your, how are you doing financially with, is it all social? Do you have some work you do?
Yeah, I'm a life lesson coach for big corporate bosses or people high up in corporations that doesn't want to be seen. And I had a client in Hollywood 1 month ago. So basically, high-end people, or high-end people sounds weird, but people who have experienced everything in the 3D. And they want to experience a whole new world, where I give them the tools and I take the weight off their shoulders, and I basically make them appreciate life again. Because this reality that we live in is just 0.5, but I can introduce you to, I can give you 1% more of the reality, and that is much appreciated. And I can also help you attain supernatural pattern recognition, which is very appreciated as well.
Got it. You mentioned living in LA for a little bit. Do you have a place in the States still? Where do you?
No. So I was just in LA for when I was 17. I was 13 years ago. I was there for temporarily. Then I went back to Sweden after like
Got it.
a while, and then I haven't been in the States until 1 month ago when the client called me to come, and I went to New York and shit, and then I went back. But so I'm not a big fan of America, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of, especially in LA.
Yeah,
I haven't been. Where do you reside?
I'm right in the middle, Kansas City, Missouri.
Maybe I should go to Kansas, but
Missouri. Make sure it's Missouri. There's a difference for us people in the middle. We're like, if you live on the Missouri side, you hate when people say, "Oh, Kansas." Like, no, Missouri.
All right, I'll come visit Missouri. Yeah, for sure. So that's a life lesson, coach. But then tomorrow, this is probably going to be released after. So I am releasing my first merch. And it's gonna become a brand, and it's gonna be called the Divine Misfits.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's a great. Listen, when I saw that, I'm like, that's me.
Yes, that's you, bro.
I feel like I'm a divine misfit. Me and my wife
God's favorite fuck up.
Dude, I'm telling you, listen, you look through all the disciples and everybody, they were all fuck ups. God doesn't use perfect people.
He doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. That's it.
He's a good story writer. A guy that lives a perfect life his whole life and never gets in any trouble, and then he starts leading people to Christ. That's not very cool. That doesn't sell well. God wants to show.
No, yeah. I explained this also. I explained this at a quantum level of why it is so, right? Because what we're doing, if we think in a computer program software or code, for example, let's say that you are code and I am code, and because God is omnipotent, right? He's all knowing, but you cannot forget that God is also forever learning and forever expanding. So why He likes us so much is because we have fucked around so much and we have written so much code, right? Because that He loves it. He wants us to rise. He wants us to evolve and expand this matrix. And He promises to keep us safe during the process. And then He promises to reward us with perfect health or eternal, like longevity. Like,
so I love these because that when this stuff happens, I know we're on the right track. The demons are like, shut it down.
Yeah. you know how I know?
How?
You don't have to have this with my fucking ex call. Right. So,
yeah. So, all right. So, I was going to ask a question.
This matrix constantly wants us to expand and evolve together with this matrix, so we can build a new, so we can build a new Earth or whatever you want to call it. Like, we always want to expand and evolve and raise our vibrational frequency, and the only way for us to do that is to fuck around. We need to fuck around in the most righteous way possible.
Okay, so that being said, let's talk about a lot of people, especially in the Christian world. They get caught up in the legalism and they start overthinking things. And so, let's talk about like fertility doctors and this IVF and all this stuff. People are like, "Oh, you're playing God. And I feel like I'm like, no. I think if you don't find those sort of findings, I think you're being disrespectful to God, because God has given these doctors and scientists this level of intelligence to find these things. And if they don't discover it and bring it about, then they're squandering and they're not stewarding the resources that God gave them. So what they're actually doing is God's work, if you ask me. Yeah, would you feel that same way?
They're stuck in the belief system that allows them that allows the existence of Satan to be in a particular way, and the devil. So what people need to realize is that the devil is nothing but a great teacher, and he's not there to create a mark of the beast to take over the world. No, he's there to steer you on the right direction, to become a righteous person. And sometimes people need to be afraid of hell to become a good person. So although it's all different, and And I hear a bunch of influencers talking shit about ayahuasca and mushrooms, and saying that it's demonic. Yeah, okay. Yes, it is demonic. Does that mean that God did not create it? Does that mean that it's not that is not cannot be a catalyst for an immense personal growth? Why would you spread scarcity about anything when you are a follower of Christ? And it makes no sense. You are a divine being. Stop spreading scarcity. If you continue to spread scarcity as an influencer, you are going to get disciplined by Father Daddy. He is going to punish you for being afraid. God does not need your fear. He needs your faith. And if ayahuasca is calling you, trust me, it's calling you for a reason. And so let's say if that influencer made a post about ayahuasca that you should stay away from it, this person, when ayahuasca comes calling on one person, and that person directly correlates this to that influencer talking about how it is demonic and it doesn't want to do it, what's going to happen is that this influencer is now interfering with the laws of karma. And that is the last thing that you want to interfere with, because you will get fucked in the ass. So they have to be very careful, these influencers, when they spread scarcity. I'm antidote to that. I'm making everything, and I'm here to rid everybody of a scarcity mindset. And I realize that the more you fuck around, the more rewarded you are going to get. Because even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. It says in the Bible, you will be protected if you choose to fuck around. Just put your faith in Christ and fuck around, and you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded with abundance. You will be rewarded with youth. You will be rewarded with perfect health. But if you choose to have the traditional Christian belief system that the devil is gonna, you're gonna stay the same. If you stay the same, you're gonna grow old, and you're gonna get depressed, you're gonna get obese, like you're gonna be on meds. That is the matrix disciplining you for not being obedient. The matrix of God is the same. He wants to write new code. It's a forever process. It's an ever learning process. And that's it. So we need to really get people with high influence to stop spreading scarcity about anything in the name of Christ, especially. What is there to fear if you're a follower of Christ?
Right. Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No kidding. Okay. So let's talk about, future for you. What's on the horizon? Like what's your, give me, path me out your thoughts for the next couple of years, and then maybe where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from now? Where are you trying to get to? What's your personal goals?
My personal goal is to not be here in 10 years. On this planet. That is my personal goal. But maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
Here's what I say. You might be able to appreciate this. I think that when I get to the gate, God's going to tell me, well done, good and faithful servant. And he's going to let me in. But what he's going to do is make me stay here for like 160 years before I can get there. I think that's my penance to pay is going to be that I got to hang around here for because I know how awesome heaven's going to be. So he's going to make me wait it out and kind of pay my dues down here for a little bit. That's kind of my view on it. And so that's why I'm doing what I do. I'm hoping he'll give me some good time. Like when I was in prison, he'll shave off something like, all right, we'll let you up here in 110 years. You've been doing good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a sunny shift in your awareness and your consciousness that eventually you're gonna just stop for a minute, and you're gonna realize that shit, we are now experiencing heaven on earth, and it's gonna be a conscious shift that you're not gonna be aware of. It's not gonna be a physical death in the way that people think. But yeah, you're gonna be rewarded with that if you choose to fuck around and expand and evolve together with this matrix. It's as simple as that, actually.
Yeah.
Heaven on earth. You came down here for a reason.
We hear that all the time. I think about that a lot is what's going to change? Is it that we're going to stay doing what we're doing, but the pain's going to go away, the pain, the suffering and all that, but we get to continue living life and just enjoy it instead of, and so like you said, having some faith and some healthier perspective, you start to have glimpses of heaven when it's like you start being unaffected by things, and you're things happen. And there's a saying that I heard from a pastor years ago that I thought was freaking awesome. It's the proof of the power and the presence of God is not in the absence of attacks, but it's the ability of the believer to withstand them. And
that's a good quote.
Man, it's like, I still, I used to get unraveled, man. And I would something would not go my way. Cause I'm a planner and I got these massive plans and I'm headstrong. Like this is going to work. And then it doesn't. And then I'm like, fuck. And then
redirection is protection, brother.
Yeah. Like, don't talk to me. I don't want to, just leave me alone for a few days. And then now it's like, I'm like, damn it, that sucks. All right, God, what do you got? What should I do? Let me pivot here, cause I know he's got something better.
Yes.
God's answers to your prayers are either yes, not right now, or I got something better.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, well, dude, this is the part of the show where first I want to do a fun little speed round of questions. And so
yes, love it.
Pretty irrelevant, but just fun stuff. So
love it.
Cold plunge or sauna?
Cold plunge.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Hardest workout you've ever done?
My time.
How about one book every young man must read?
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
I love that. Yeah. One habit every man should quit immediately.
Victimizing himself.
That's really good. Yeah, no kidding. If you could train with any warrior from history ever, who would it be?
Sun Tzu.
Who is it?
Sun Tzu.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's a good one. I wasn't expecting that. Most overrated trend in self-improvement.
Self-improvement is not the answer. Self-destruction is.
There you go. Yeah. One thing you wish men would stop apologizing for. Being a man. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. If you could delete one belief from society, what would it be?
Belief. In what sense?
What is it? Yeah.
Belief in what sense?
Yeah. All right. What is your spirit animal as a leader? Or let's just rephrase that. If you could die and come back as an animal, what would it be?
Black Panther.
Ooh, that's good. All right. One thing we did leave out that I thought was very interesting. That's it for the speed round, because this last question reminded me. Go back to when you changed your name. That story is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Because your birth name was what? Say it again.
Måns Felix Håkan Aslund.
Okay. So why did you drop that?
So,
what's it mean?
Names carry meaning. Måns means the great. Okay. Felix means the happy, and I'd rather be happy than great. That is why I changed it. So, yeah.
I love that. There's a terminology that I heard several years ago that I thought was really good. People like, man, you're lucky. I'm like, nah, I'm blessed. And I always say, I would rather be blessed than good.
Yeah.
Because being good is it's you. It's your own. If you're blessed, it's him.
Yeah.
Way better.
Way better. And Amadeus means loved by God.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, this is the part of my show where I can't remember if I prefaced you with this one or not, but you're a deep enough, quick enough thinker, you'll know. So I see a psychologist on a pretty regular basis. He's my coach, my mental coach. He's the team doctor for the NBA basketball champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and so he deals with high level professionals and stuff. He's kind of my leadership coach, mentor, and he helps me through stuff. So anyway, as I'm doing these things, he said, these videos are cool because what you don't understand is they're going to perpetuate into the future for many, many, many years to come. And so the wisdom and the good and the stuff you're spreading is going to spread to generations and generations that you don't even realize yet. And I thought, wow,
what you do in life echoes in eternity.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So we don't know how long YouTube these videos are going to play. And there's a video that do you know who Lecrae is, the Christian rapper? You ever heard of him? Okay. So he did a sermon back when I first got sober, and there was the addiction doctor that I was talking to at the time. We were going through like addiction and marriage counseling at the same time when I first got sober. And he asked me, he's like, what's your role in the house? I said, well, I'm the man of the house. And he's like, well, what's that? What's the man? And I'm like, he's like, all right, the fact that you're pausing, I don't want you to answer that now. I want you to go home and do some research and come back next session. And I want to know what your definition of a real man is. Right. And this is 10 years ago. And so I did what anybody would do in this time. And I Googled it. what does it look to be a real man? And this video came up from Lecrae. Right. And it was at the time, now that I know, it was only 1 year old. This video had been out for 1 year. Well, that video was very transformative for me. It was a good, just a wholesome video, just the healthy masculinity, right? What our calling is as a man biblically. And so as I've gone through my journey and I'm outspoken and share my story, people want help from me. They call me all the time, right, man? Hey, I'm going through some stuff. Can you help me? I see blah, blah, blah. So I always send them this video, right? Well, I looked up the other day after my doctor was telling me about this. That video is now 11 years old on YouTube still. And I've sent it to no less than probably 1,000 people over the last 10 years. And I'm just like, that really sparked something to me. I'm like, what we're doing is not just about today. It's going to be, who knows, for years to come, and thousands and millions of people. And, you know, like you said earlier, if I could just change one person's life for the better, it's all worth it. Right. And so that's, so taking that, I always like to leave people with the opportunity. Hey man, this thing's going to go on forever. As far as we know, what message do you want to leave for generations to come? That's, going to be part of your legacy.
Me?
Yeah.
It's very cliche. It's like, no, what I can say is like, we live in we do exist in a simulation of what people could perceive as a simulation, but it's much more intricate and complicated. But always manifest God as an external source. Surrender to God as an external source. When you are in the spiritual place and you know that you are God, yes, you are God, but you do not want to do the work yourself. You have enough pressure on you to be human. Let God do the rest. That is it.
It's great. Simple and profound. That's it. Yeah. You got to leave room for him to do what he does. Right. Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. Anything else you were hoping we would talk about that we didn't get to? This is just
no, this was great. There's a great conversation. You're a great dude. This was probably the best. Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Well, if you would do me a huge favor, man, and I don't want this to be it for us. I'd like to keep a relationship going and a friendship, and
sure.
Like I said, man, had I known that I had a friend in Sweden, I probably would have made that trip to Switzerland for my my friend's wedding coming up in March.
Switzerland.
Yeah, they're going to gosh dang it, I had the name. I'll text it to you later. It's some like Asian themed, Japanese themed resort up in the middle of a mountain somewhere, and it's freaking amazing. These people, my friends, they own a bunch of McDonald's here in town, and they're flying over there to get married, and it was cool. And there's a small handful of people that got invited, and we did, and I just felt so bad because my stinking kids. I got 1 million kids all in professional or in high level competitive sports. And so we travel a lot. And my son is, this year, he's 10, and I think he's got a really good chance of making it to the state competition this year. And so state is happening that weekend that the wedding's going on. So I was like, man, I can't, my son's first year of maybe making it to state. There ain't no way I can miss that.
Success requires sacrifices.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, brother, I appreciate your time, dude. And
I appreciate you, dude.
This has been great, man. I'm glad I have, it's so funny. This goes right along with me and who I am. Cause my kids just are enamored by I go anywhere, literally everywhere we go. We're on vacation. I don't care if we're in Mexico. I don't care. I run into somebody that I know, and so they always wonder why. Like, Dad, how do you know everybody? Now, if we end up in Sweden, I'm gonna know somebody over there too.
You're gonna know people over here, bro. I got you.
Yeah, I love it. Well, brother, I appreciate your time, dude. I'm gonna do our little outro here and let you get on with your day, man. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. It's dark.
Here we go. Well, that's another successful episode of the Stronger Leader podcast, man. My man, Felix. Oh, yeah, look at that. My guy. Listen, this has been unreal. I appreciate your time getting on here from halfway across the world, or literally all the way across the world, and spending some time with us. And I know that people are going to get a lot out of this. And I will put some contact information for Felix. I'll put all his social platforms, his Red Pill Energy link. I'll get you some links to his stuff, and you want to consume some more of his content, I'll get you access to it. So, as always, man, be good, be blessed, and be stronger. Peace.